Welcome to this episode of the Public Nuisance Podcast, brought to you from my sponsor, that praise guy, right here at the headquarters. The man is doing millions of pounds in prizes every month, helping charities, helping communities. What more do you want? And he's with us today.
Love it.
Lads, what a group, what a gathering we have here today. Thanks for being part of it.
No, thank you.
The
Thank
two
you.
big
You
lads
couldn't
were-
find anyone else worthy of bringing on, so you got us on.
Yeah, 100%. I had to pick you two off the street because I'm one of those people. Should I know you? Should I know you?
Oh, yeah, one of them ones. That's all right.
I
No
told
comment.
Big John he should go around Belfast today just getting random photos with people and be like, can I get a photo of you? And they'll be like, what?
And
And then other people will be looking from the outside in going, should I know this guy?
Oh, wow.
And it's you getting
It's a
photos
little
of
slide
them.
dig
Do you know what I mean?
from them. Well,
So tell me, lads, how have you found Belfast? I know I've seen you on your social medias ranting and raving about Belfast and how good it is. But
Listen, we're fortunate, or I'm fortunate enough where my work at the moment is taking me around the world, the whole world. And then when you come to a place like Belfast, which you probably wouldn't, if you're from London, you probably wouldn't be high on your list to visit.
yeah,
When I come here the first time last September, I was amazed how clean it was, how friendly the people were, how walkable it all is. And coming here the second time has cemented what a great city it is. And I would advise anyone, if you've got a spare weekend, come and visit Belfast, because you will have a great time. And it's been truly fantastic. And I don't tell no lies. I can't lie with things like this. It's a wonderful place, and it just feels so at home here, which is weird.
I've been here 3 or 4 times now. I've been to watch a couple
down,
of
mate.
boxing. Calm down. I've been here a couple of times to watch boxing.
he's been at Tenerife, you've been to London.
I've been here,
I've been here 3 times.
actually 4 times to watch boxing as well. And the boxing obviously is a great thing, but as you said, the friendliness of the people is probably the best thing. And it's a great place to come and visit.
Because from us in England, like obviously you hear about Belfast, the first thing that comes into your mind is troubles.
Yeah,
you
troubles,
know, like
yeah,
and a lot of them troubles obviously spilled over into London, where we are, and you automatically think of troubles. But when you come,
Couldn't be far from that now.
It's mad that people still have that perception though, from England.
Yeah.
Like, that they think
but
that-
even in Dublin,
Yeah.
you know, people even in Dublin, they think like, oh, you better watch when you go up there, you know. 'Cause I had that perception
Serious?
myself before I started coming up here and having all my friends up here and stuff, you know, be like, oh, jeez, if you go into a wrong area up there, if you're Catholic or whatever, like, you know, it's not going to be
It
good.
is like, in fairness, when you go into certain areas, if you're in the heart of an area, or you go into a local pub in one of those areas, it can
It's the same
get a
anywhere
bit
though, isn't it?
sketchy, but I mean,
I mean, I could bring you into an area in Dublin, and if you weren't with me, like, it wouldn't be good.
wouldn't be
You know,
good.
and I'm sure you boys.
Yeah.
in
There's
London
things
and
in
stuff.
London where you can go
Yeah.
places like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be the traditional troubles like over here.
Exactly.
In any area of any part of the world, there's going to be troubles.
but we're English, we're British, we're Protestant. We felt just as much at home last time when we came in the Protestant areas of Belfast as we did in the Catholic areas
yeah,
of
of course,
Belfast.
100%.
You know, we went with Paddy the
Yeah, I
Dagger.
was going to say, Big Paddy took
We
them
went
out.
with Paddy the Dagger. We
gentleman.
visited both sides.
Yeah.
And from my point of view, we was welcomed in both sides. So
We
that's,
went into the
that's great.
Felons Bar, didn't we?
Yeah,
Sounds
yeah,
as
we
we
did.
say me, that's a good bar.
And
I'm
we also
barred.
went in the Rex bar.
I'm barred
There's
from
a
it.
problem. There's got to be a
Fuck's
problem if you're
Go
barred
on
from
out,
the
you get
Felons.
barred. Of course, you're barred.
Oh,
like.
fuck, will you
Are
take me
you going
north?
to tell us why you're bored?
I can't even remember, it was that long ago. Do you know what, I don't know if I'm barred anymore, but I was barred about 7 years ago, and I tried to go back in and they says you're barred, and I says that's not me, that's my brother. I blame everything on the older brother.
That's it,
Because
I
we
wouldn't get that.
look alike, and they've said no, it's definitely you, so I just have boycotted it ever since. So I might be allowed back.
They might
but-
reach out now.
But it
after
is a
seeing
good
this.
bar, I'll still, listen, I wouldn't
You're a
talk bad
felon
about it.
in the Felons Bar.
Ooh, how long did it take you to think of that, John?
Been thinking about that since the combo started.
Comedian now, are we? Ooh.
And here, this is probably a place that you have to do a lot of bad shit to get barred from.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Wanking
the
in
pub
public normally gets you barred from many places.
Yeah.
Got to stop that.
Like the pub in Shameless.
Not in Belfast, but it's good.
it's
It's an open
accepted.
door.
Yeah.
But what I love about Belfast, forget about everything else, is like you can walk everywhere, basically.
Yeah, 100%.
And like where the Duke of York pub is, that little street there.
Yeah,
What is that street called? All round
The
there.
Cathedral Quarter.
Yeah,
It's Cathedral
wonderful.
Quarter. Beautiful.
Just Like when you see that, you think, wow, why have I never been here before?
It's like old Belfast with the cobblestones
yeah,
and
yeah.
All the old buildings, but all bars and everyone's welcoming.
I like going to Dublin, it's great, but you can get trapped in the touristy bits here.
Yeah.
Like you've got that little bit if you need it in like the thirsty goat and around there, but it seems a little bit more accessible than
Like going to Dublin on Friday, when we're in Dublin on Friday, go, I much prefer Dublin to Belfast.
We're doing a podcast.
Yeah, the old podcast.
Belfast off.
Yeah, we'll get us on my podcast.
We're a different tune when we come to it.
Yeah. Fucking glad we're out of Belfast.
You were drinking Murphy's, John, yeah? What we were talking earlier, just what did you prefer, Murphy's?
I've always, whenever I've come to Ireland, or even back at home in England, I've always preferred, I like a Guinness, don't get me wrong, but I prefer a Murphy's. Now, since I've put it online that I've had a Murphy's, a lot of people are saying try Beamish.
Yeah, Beamish is lovely.
So I'm going to try, after we finish this, I'm going to go back to the Duke of York, I'm going to try a Beamish, and I'm going to try a pack of the Glens of Antrim pickled onion crisps. Because they're supposed to be
I know the crisps.
Nah, the Duke of York, they do a variety of stout, so maybe you could do all three, do a Guinness, a Murphy's and a
that'd be a
Beamish,
good one, yeah.
and see which one you prefer.
I know so far Murphy's, it would take a lot for me to beat a Murphy's.
Yeah.
I've got to be true. Although I do like a Kilkenny as well. I know it's not the same, but I think a Kilkenny is a really good drop.
Can
as
you have
well.
a free stout? You'll probably be drunk after free stout.
I had two in the Duke of York yesterday, lunchtime, not eating anything. And I actually felt myself getting a bit, I wanted to pick the glass up and throw it at someone. But no, I actually felt a bit, not woozy, but just happy.
Yeah.
So then I found a calf, Rosa's calf, had chicken curry, rice and chips.
There you go.
Delicious. Proper calf, really nice.
Do you ever drink stout?
No. Only beers I drink, like Peroni, Corona, Stella.
He likes a nice Malbec.
Yeah.
We had a nice Malbec.
Nice
wine.
Red
See,
wine,
I
bro.
couldn't drink wine.
Sophisticated.
I had a bad experience. So when I went to Canada to box in 2010, it was a dinner show, and after my fight, the show was sort of finishing. I was like second last fight, and I drank a full bottle of wine. I was only 19 or 18 at the
gone
time.
straight to you.
Fuck me, lad. I had to be carried home.
You've had a bad experience.
I hit different at that age.
Oh,
Like, it took me.
And I had the worst hangover for 2 days. We were travelling from, I think, St. Catharines in Canada to Sarnia, Ontario. It was like a 7-hour drive. And I just threw up for fucking 48 hours straight.
Red wine can do that. I had an experience with my mate Steve Potts, 500 game player for West Ham. Big shout out Steve Potts. He come in, it was baking hot. He come in, I said, come in 5 minutes with his wife and family. And we drank about 8 bottles of red wine between us. And that's the only time ever, this was a Sunday night, I have woke up in the morning, there was sick everywhere, all red everywhere. And the only time I've ever not gone to work.
You thought you killed someone?
Self-inflicted. I was shaking like anything, but red wine can do that to you.
You nearly flipped our car. We used to have an old banged up Mondeo.
I nearly flipped that
You tried
over.
to flip the car over as well.
I was so drunk. I was so drunk.
Just pissed,
But you know why? Because he was drinking it like it was water. It was baking off.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Red wine, you got to sip, as he knows. But so since then, I didn't touch red wine for about 2 years. But I had a nice glass last night.
Yeah, it was
very
lovely.
nice.
I'm a sucker for
Red
it.
wine should be cultured, not loutish.
Yeah, 100%. That's because see, people would have a wine with their dinner. But see, Irish and British people have the wrong perception of drink. They'll go and
In
fucking...
general,
just
you go to Europe, you go to France.
We don't know how to drink
is
properly.
different.
We don't know how to drink properly.
Like one thing I noticed from being in Europe and stuff, it's like they don't get why you would drink before you go out to drink.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they don't
pre-drinks.
understand that.
Bro,
Even in Australia,
my
it's not the
nephew the
same.
other night was talking. He's 18, right? And he's saying, "Oh, we're going up to Belfast." I says, "Where are you going for a carry?" He says, "No, we're not. We just get on the train and go." And I'm like, "What do you mean you don't drink before you go out?"
mad.
Nah,
Yeah, it's
they
like-
just meet on the train. And I'm like, we used to drink for hours
Yeah,
before going out drinking for hours.
When
like,
you go on lads' holidays to Iron
Yeah.
Apple or whatever as well, I just remember all my mates, I never
weeks worth
drunk,
of
but
drink.
like, till 1 a.m. they'll be drinking in the hotel and then they go out.
Yeah.
One, because you save money, and two, they want to be
I don't
classy
leave my
before
house
they go
past
out.
7 o'clock anymore. Like, I couldn't imagine doing something like that on holiday.
No.
Like 2
I said
weeks
to you
worth of
last
drink.
night, I haven't been drunk for ages, years probably. And the only time I will get drunk is at home,
Yeah.
where you can
You're
feel
safe and
relaxed.
secure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
comfort.
You know you're in your comfort zone.
Exactly,
If anything was
yeah.
to happen, you've got that.
You know, someone can hopefully put you up to bed.
Your bed,
I've
Even if
tried
you
to do
don't
that
make it,
once.
it's
Remember
fine.
in
He tried to do it
Actually, yeah,
once.
you can just go out and flip a Mondeo then.
I drank a bottle of Disaronno and about 7 rosé.
Yeah, that's
the middle of
not a
lockdown.
good thing. I poured it all in a pint glass.
I don't know how I got you up the stairs.
Good job
Rolling
I'm
about
fat
on the floor.
because otherwise I think he could have killed me. He got me up the stairs.
Seeing one outing, how much pints do you think you could do in one outing?
How many pints?
How many pints? Yeah.
Listen, as I said, I'm not a massive drinker, but every now and again I'll overindulge like I do in food.
Like
but
the
I
Harkin.
overindulge in food a lot more than what I do in alcohol. But if I was at home, you could probably do 9, 10 pints.
William would do
Quite
more.
easy. William had my youngest son,
He
Johnny's
works in
brother.
insurance in London. So part of his job is meeting clients and getting deals.
I've
So
had to tell
Going
him.
out and fucking.
I've had to tell him a few times. He's a good boy. William's got a good
he
job,
sinks them.
but he knows how to. He sunk 10 pints one night.
He was
Next
fine.
day, he ran half marathon.
He doesn't
got
get
a record
hungover.
time.
No way.
He don't because he's
That's
young.
half juice,
He don't
mate.
I done
affect
that.
He's only 21.
He's 21.
I done that by an accident. The Belfast Marathon was on.
No, it's good.
By
aye.
accident.
Just by accident. So I was at a wedding 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. It was the Belfast Marathon. Is that right? About 3 weeks, 4 weeks
Aye,
ago?
4 weeks ago, I think. aye.
Now the
Yeah.
Belfast Marathon is that a 26-mile marathon?
Yeah, 26
Yeah.
mile marathon. So
Well,
what
that's what
happened was I
marathon
was
is.
at
No,
a-
no, but some of them do them a bit shorter.
Yeah,
Or,
I was
you
at-
know.
Marathon, yeah.
Yeah.
So we were doing a relay, and I was only supposed to run 5.5 miles. So I was at a wedding the night before. Obviously had a few drinks. I was still out till like 5 or 6 in the morning. Went home, went to bed, woke up at 9:30. The marathon had started, but I was running the last leg.
Yeah, lucky you.
But see where I live, I couldn't get out because the road
'Cause
was
the roads
closed
were all
off.
closed.
So I was like, fuck, how am I getting over here to meet the other gap was coming to meet me with the button. So my wife was like, fuck, I don't know, Sean. So we were asking the people, the stewards who were on the street, look,
the best
we
way.
need out. Like, you
Yeah,
can't get out. There's,
yeah.
there's runners coming by here and
Yeah.
they're going to be coming by for the next hour or so. So I says to my wife, fuck it. I was eating a packet of like chili sensation crisps. And I was like, fuck it, I'm away. She's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm away.
Just run it.
I ended up
Run
running
before
like a 13 mile around, and I was fucked. I think I was still drunk the whole time I was
Bloody
on.
hell.
Fucking feet. My feet were mangled.
See, that's the
up.
thing.
Did you
Sometimes,
run in them
Oh,
sandals?
cock slices.
sometimes like you in that instance, and like William, my son, in that instance, is probably the alcohol keeping you going.
Yeah, 100%.
And it'll be later on in the
Later
night
on.
when
Yeah,
it all
that
hits
you'll-
you.
Yeah.
And when I finished, I was so dehydrated. I was like, fuck, I need to go and get a pint into me. It's crazy the way, the mentality. The first thing you think of is I need a fucking cure,
Get it straight
even
away.
after running 13
I
miles.
know.
But you got some good pints in Belfast, and a lot of people said try Harp Lager.
Yeah, the harp.
Is that from
That's
Belfast?
what I would drink. Yeah, I would
I
drink harp.
don't, like, I was very surprised when I first came up here and started saying you was all drinking that, because alcoholics, like people, homeless people on the street, wouldn't drink harp. In Dublin.
Harp's unbelievable. It's a great pint. It's a great pint of lager.
What's the equivalent?
If you
you're
like,
gonna
look
get
at
one
that
of
fella
them
down there.
big
that
juice
is
What is it?
like-
Is it just like a 4
Drinking
5%?
harp.
like a Foster?
4%, like a Foster's probably.
Yeah.
I think personally think
Because I saw the bar with a Harp sign, so I'm
Yeah,
going to
it's-
go to Duke York, then I might go and try Harp.
it's a
as
lot
well.
easier to drink than a
Yeah.
Foster's.
Yeah,
I
it just
think.
goes down
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah,
Don't
100%.
drink in Dublin, you'd be fucked out.
Yeah. But no,
What would you drink in Dublin then?
Just the standard, I suppose.
Obviously,
like,
apart from Guinness.
yeah,
What would be the go-to pint? A lager.
like if I was a lager, it'd be probably like, I don't really
Rockshore,
drink.
maybe.
I don't know,
That's
but
only
no,
new on
not
the
really.
market.
Like, I don't know. People seem to like Coors Light, and you know, the is it like Italian ones would be
Yeah,
Birra
the
Moretti and
Perrier
Mahoney
stuff.
and
Yeah,
stuff.
aye.
Mad-
But then
what's the Mad
you'll
Juice?
always just
Spanish,
have people who are gonna just drink
Spanish,
Heineken and
Yeah,
stuff.
but they're all brewed in England. You
Yeah, I
know,
know.
yeah, he's a brewed in
100%.
England.
English, yeah.
Yeah,
I'd say probably
Foster's
Heineken,
is
Heineken or
Australian.
Coors
I
Light.
Yeah,
like
but it's brewed in
Heineken.
England.
Brewed in England, yeah.
Yeah, it's brewed in England.
I suppose Guinness is brewed. I think the
Must be
biggest
no.
brewery
Guinness
in.
is in
I
Ireland.
think
isn't it?
Guinness's biggest breweries in Africa.
No, Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Nigeria, yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's all we're all fed a load of mystique.
yeah,
It's
100%.
mad though when you know, I'd be more like Paul, just drink wine with meals. I don't really drink much, but if I was drinking, it'd be just a glass of wine with a meal. But you know, if you're in another country, I've had a pint of Guinness and fuck me, it's bad. I don't know what it's
I've
like.
never had a
over-
Guinness in my life, you know.
Nah.
Not one.
No?
I've tried it, like, but I've never ordered or had a full pint of Guinness. Like.
Yeah,
I
it's-
tell you what, I do like
it's
the baby. The
an
baby
acquired taste.
Guinnesses are good.
Yeah,
there's a-
They're not
Bailey's
cheap,
last
but they're
night was
good.
blackout though after a
Yeah,
couple, you know.
it seems like people always have the same places to go to in Belfast for Guinness. So like it's like
Aye.
Yeah,
Bittles.
But it's a big
Yeah.
thing.
Mad
Like, the
bar.
last couple of
Yeah.
years, like,
We've got
all
a pub
pint of
in
Guinness is a
London,
thing, you know what I
Guinea
mean?
Grill.
so
That's in
here's
Devonshire,
what
yeah.
it is anyway, at least in my experience from talking to people who drink Guinness. It's like, it's always the shithole pubs with the old men at the bar, and if they're drinking
Farting
Guinness,
like
yeah, smell a shit off them.
No, you're right.
That's one.
Old school.
And if they're drinking
Yeah.
it, that's the place to
school.
They're
go
the
to.
best restaurants as well. You
Yeah.
know the ones that aren't too fancy or too much
Yeah.
in your face.
Yeah.
They're
Listen,
just
we get
good
asked, you ask, Michelin starred this, Michelin starred that. I much
Fucking-
prefer the
fucking that's
No
it.
fuck,
Yeah.
that's
family
not
restaurant.
food,
I've been there
Yeah,
generation after generation.
Yeah.
I don't like all that fancy stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
small
You want to
plates
just
and
stick to
shit,
what you
yeah.
know. See, listen, you go in there with Michelin star and you get something. You get the experience is nice. Just the
Yeah.
experience.
But it's more
I'd
about...
rather have the experience of the good food.
Yeah, good. Eating
They're
good,
more
full
interested in
meal.
saying, "Oh, we have to cook it this way. I'll do this to it." No, that's not what you
Yeah.
want. You just want it to
Fucking give me
taste good.
I think people
Yeah,
are
exactly,
people
yeah.
are seeing through that a lot because people are liking traditional food, old-fashioned
Yeah.
food. you know?
Marco Pierre White said it. I saw him say it. He said that the Michelin star chasing that has become more about the gastronomy and how they cook it rather than what it
Rather
actually
than what it
tastes like.
actually
The
is.
experience, you know.
It's like, who cares what, like how long the steak's been lying there or
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
way
I
it
just
was.
wanna
know what
Just
it tastes
If it's
like,
nice,
yeah.
then
We're
that's
simple
all.
people. We want
Yeah.
simple food.
Have you ever had an Ulster fry?
I saw them in the calves. Is that like the
Like
equivalent
your-
of an
like
English full
English
English?
Have you not an
It's
Ulster
or
fry?
an
full
Ulster
Irish.
fry has just, like stuff on it that no other fry has. Like you
Yeah.
can't even get it in
Yeah,
Dublin.
no, you can't.
What,
So
pudding?
it's
How can you not get
has
Dublin?
like
Potato bread?
would
There's
have
a day of
would
bread
have
and
black
soda
pudding, white
bread.
pudding, but it has potato
Oh
bread.
my god, man.
Yeah, just don't,
Soda
you don't
bread.
have white pudding up here though.
We do.
We do, aye.
Oh, do you?
I had one in Dirty Nelly's in Southsea. Do you remember? Was you? I was Emery.
What time you leaving
I
tomorrow
went
morning?
there and had an Irish bread.
You booked the
11-ish.
train, mate, before you leave tomorrow, Ulster fry.
Ulster
Yeah, I
fry.
think there's a nice cafe.
What is potato bread?
Potato bread is the nicest thing you'll
Yeah,
ever
I've had
eat.
it
potato
is nice.
bread
You
before.
can't even
Is it
describe
fried?
it. Like,
Like, you can't describe it.
Yeah.
just
It's
get it
fucking
tomorrow, laced in
unbelievable.
butter,
Just get it.
toasted.
No, you're right. We shouldn't have
So
a
you
breakfast
get
in a
you
hotel.
get black
Go to a
pudding,
cafe.
white
Yeah,
pudding.
go and
Get
get an
black
Ulster
pudding,
fry.
Potato
white
bread.
pudding, bacon, sausage, olive, eggs.
Your
potato
world's
bread,
gonna change
soda
tomorrow.
bread.
You'll probably
and
want to move here
sometimes
after
you get a
Ulster
fry.
pancake and
Yeah.
an Ulster fry.
But I said that. You
Hash
said that
brown
you
too.
probably want to move it. I think a lot of people from Britain are moving over here, aren't they?
Yeah, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying.
landlords from London who've just bought houses.
Oh,
right
well,
in
that's the
Belfast
fucking
'cause they're
problem, but
fucking-
But it'll bring another problem in itself.
Yeah,
because
because
the
they'll
more,
bring in
the
more
more of us
fucking-
that move
You
over.
look at fucking Spain and all now, all the protests with tourism and stuff
Yeah.
because all
I
the
think
houses have
people are
been
just
taken
leaving
over.
England a lot.
Yeah, but you
It's
say about the
massive.
protests in Spain, a lot of that's bullshit. Because we've been to Mallorca a couple of times, and a lot of people now are saying there's not many protests.
Yeah.
There's only a
That's
few
that.
people driving it on the agenda.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
like on the news.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
It's
get
not
the
as
small
bad as what it
minority
seems.
fucking
Yeah.
You see, like
showing
there's
up.
talking about it, the protests in Ibiza. Like,
But
you just
Magaluf,
see- you don't
is
see
not
it.
as busy as what it should be because of a lot of
Yeah.
the protests.
Yeah.
It's turning people off going.
But
and now all that's
initially,
got to happen is
I've heard
businesses are
that
going to
the
close.
protest
Local
was
businesses are
about
getting
people
hurt.
who buy houses in Spain and they don't use them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
about people
No.
visiting
But
for
we
a
we're
week, 2
getting that
weeks.
here. We do get that here. We get a lot of people down the mainland that are buying houses here.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
what do you
like
think we
second
get in
houses.
London? When you go around London, Chelsea, Kensington, no one's in them houses.
Yeah.
They've been
Yeah.
bought by the Russians,
Yeah,
the
it's what
Chinese,
I'm
the
saying.
Arabs.
Yeah,
yes,
You know what I mean?
The
We
same
have
in
the
Devon and
same
Cornwall as
problem.
well.
We have the same. Everyone's got the same
Is
problem.
it Indians or Chinese who own the crazy amount of London?
I think China owns
It's
more.
China,
yeah,
is it?
China, yeah.
Like, so I
And obviously a
remember
lot of
reading that
Arabs as
somewhere.
well.
Yeah,
own
yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of the
Yeah.
high-end places.
Because
Yeah.
they're the only ones that can afford it. A lot of the
Yeah, of
English people
course.
now can't
Yeah.
afford to, own
Well, it's almost
places in London.
unlivable in Dublin too.
Yeah.
Dublin's
Yeah, Dublin's
crazy.
fucking
Dublin's
insane.
very
It's a
bad
problem.
at the
It's a
minute,
problem we've all got.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
seen
But
on Twitter yesterday someone had a gaff up in Crumlin for €7,280 a month.
What?
7
Like,
grand a
Crumlin.
month.
In Crumlin in
Crumlin
Dublin.
in Dublin.
Yeah.
And it
like-
was a 5-bedroom gaff.
Ah, but you can't be
But I was
paying
like,
7
what
grand.
the
Yeah.
fuck?
If you go an hour and a half, 2 hours up from London, though, you're going approaching places like Loughborough and Peterborough, and like
Yeah.
You can get value for
you
money.
get 100 grand for
At
a
the moment,
house.
you can, but that'll
Yeah.
all change. 'Cause
Yeah.
Probably a
You
good
can't
time.
trust
Even
it.
now,
Probably a
like,
good
It just
time to buy a
filters.
house there.
It just
Like,
filters
I'll
up.
be in this
Just-
far
you know what I
from.
mean?
There's good value, but Bangor alone, there's not good value in houses here because of demand for it. You've got to go rural to get
Yeah.
value for money. There was a house went up in property pile the other day, and everybody was sharing it. Huge, big, beautiful house, football, like a
Nate Narge.
It was Portavogie. Did you see it with a football pitch beside it?
Because I seen someone from Property Pal says if I beat this guy, he owns his house and penalties on his football
Yeah,
pitch.
yeah,
so he
yeah,
let
yeah.
me-
So that house, right? That house is 430 grand, which you put that house anywhere in Northern Ireland, it's about $1.5 million.
Easy.
But because of where it is, it's
the
right,
location of it,
right in the fucking sticks. Like,
As
but
Johnny said, like Peterborough, around that
Yeah.
way.
I think
You're only
them sort
like
of
40
places-
minutes into London.
Yeah.
So
That's
why
why I
would you not
think,
want to live there?
right,
you know?
and getting properties there, like as a second home, but that's what they'll get angry at themselves.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about people buying second homes and letting them out.
It will
Yeah.
start to
They're not-
trickle.
that's- yeah.
Like they'll
Yeah.
start to filter out of London, and then it'll become a place
No,
where people
exactly.
It's
will want
already
to buy.
happened where we live.
It's
You know
just
what I
very hard now. If you're a young person, young couple, it's very hard to
Yeah.
get on the property
Yeah.
ladder.
Yeah.
If you've got I'm not being derogatory, but if you've just got like a normal working job where
Yeah.
you work,
Yeah,
work,
100%.
work
Yeah.
your socks off,
Yeah.
it's very hard
And then
to
if,
get on the
if you
property
want to
ladder.
try and get on in this country, in Great
we
Britain, I'm
get
talking
taxed
about.
tax to the hilt. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
someone
Just
might want to
win
go
a
and
house.
work extra hours. To get
Get on the
Yeah,
break.
just win the house. Yeah, you get
The richest people, they can do it. They're at a level where where they can do the loopholes and get through the
Yeah, of
loopholes.
course.
But normal working people,
In Britain, we can
Yeah.
only speak about Britain. If you're rich, you haven't got any problems. if you're the poorest, you probably haven't got any problems because you're being looked after.
Yeah,
It's the ones in the middle that want to
Well, they say
work.
the middle class is just wiped out.
Yeah,
now,
it's
isn't it?
just the
That's
working
just
middle.
But even like working
Working
people
class.
as well.
See, the thing is, see a lot of the time, see people who do like work their ass off, and they've got decent jobs, but they're just caught in the
They're
middle
not seeing
somewhere.
no benefit.
A lot of times, it's not their fault. They may have just had no direction growing up, went to the right fucking education, but they've got themselves, when they've got older, they realise themselves they want to work, and they're just in a normal job. Let's say a call centre or a sales job, and they're working their ass off.
But even 10 years
and
ago.
they just can't get by that threshold.
you can't get
A
up.
salary 10 years ago, which was considered a high salary in London, it's probably, you're just about getting by on it now if you've got a family of 4.
Well, it's inflation and stuff
inflation,
and everything else. Do you know what I mean?
I think they cause it on purpose, to be truthful.
I've been
They
hearing
keep
for the last
people
3
down.
years the fucking inflation's going to drop. And I'm waiting on it.
Yeah, I know. Well, it probably has dropped, but it ain't dropped in the supermarket or the
hasn't
house
dropped
foods
anywhere else.
or the house prices. Nothing's dropped that way.
Like, especially even in Dublin now, like, you buy something and, like, I don't know what I bought like a sandwich or something the other day and a packet of crisps and it was like €17 and I was like,
That's what I'm saying. You talk about fry-ups. You could be able to go in England and get a breakfast for a £5.
Yeah.
Now you can't get a breakfast for under 15
You don't get
quid.
fucking
Yeah,
anything for a
Do you know what I
fiver
mean?
now,
Yeah.
like.
It's a
And
lot
all
of
that
money.
time the pound is worth less as well.
What the fuck's that? They don't
Wages
even
aren't
recognise a
rising with it.
fiver.
When I was going to school, my mum used to give me fucking 3 or 4 quid
yeah,
here, and that got me a taxi
Yeah, I
down
know,
to school,
yeah,
got me
yeah.
something to eat, and got me home.
Yeah.
Not
See if I
anymore.
have my
Sausage
child,
rolls in
my
school
child's
for
4.
25p or
See if I
something.
give him a tenner now, he would tell me to fuck off.
No, no.
And he's 4, he would go like that.
so
fuck
in
off.
Dublin, before we went into the Euro, we had the punt. And there was like, there
You're
was,
still smelting pump.
fuck, I wish. And you could literally have one of these, right? It was £1.
Yeah.
And you'd go into the shop and you'd be only short of telling the shopkeeper to fuck off out that you were buying the whole place.
Yeah.
Get out, because you could just buy, like,
Yeah, I think
you
you're
could
walking
buy anything, you know what I mean? And now, like I said, you wouldn't even get a bar of chocolate for, like,
Do you know what? We're
Hey,
sounding
you're-
old now, aren't we?
Yeah,
Back in the
fuck
day.
off.
Back in the
back in my
day.
day,
Yeah.
Even me.
Our kids were
Even Johnny's sounding old. Look.
I feel old though, because I got Emery and William who were 21, 23. Like, it feels like an age away when I was 21.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years change, but we all get old eventually, don't we?
yeah, that's it.
See,
old gracefully.
like, but you're boxing, like, you're very, very young for heavyweight. It's
Yeah.
crazy to think that even Tyson Fury, what is he, 34, 35?
He's 35ish, yeah.
He's fucking young.
Yeah.
For heavyweight,
Yeah,
that's
he is.
insane.
Yeah.
The people in most other weights start to filter out of the sport at that age.
Different for
Like, there's a big
heavyweights.
thing. I see, obviously, you know, Anto Kakachi just won a world title, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good
He's
box.
36, and people are saying he's getting better rage.
Yeah.
But like at heavyweight, that's the age you should
That's
only
the-
start.
that's
like,
your prime,
You
yeah.
have 10 years left
Yeah.
to hit your
10
like,
good years.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, we were just talking about before the people giving you hate and stuff. You haven't even developed in the heavyweight fair yet.
I've got a lot to learn, and
100%.
this is the beginning really. Because
100%.
I've not been winging it as such, but you're like, I had 10 amateur fights, and you're just climbing and going step by step every time. Like, you're not Babbage out in 30 seconds, and you got to go up the next level, and it's like you gamble a little bit.
It's snakes and ladders.
Yeah.
Boxing snakes and ladders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back
And we
on
said
And
you only
all of a
learn,
sudden-
you learn your hardest lessons in the toughest way possible.
Yeah,
Always.
100%.
And in a year's time, the picture changes so quickly in heavyweight boxing as well.
Big
And
time.
you,
Just
if
feels
you're
a fall
exciting and you
360.
you can put bums on seats, you're always going to have a place. So
Yeah, because it's a business for you.
You can always earn a living.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
important thing. And sometimes it's not about winning title after title after title. It is just being exciting.
Yeah,
having
that's
that
it.
journey,
Yeah,
having
yeah.
that story.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and everything that goes around with it. And like we still talk about Billy Walker
Yeah.
from like London back in the day. And he never won a title.
Yeah.
But people
I
talk
don't
about
think
him, the
he
blonde
won for a
bomber,
title.
Yeah.
because he was so exciting.
Class.
You know what I mean?
Because what I do say to people is, you're an entertainer first before you're the fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people, a lot of the time, like when you don't really have like something that people want to see, they'll say it's unfair, like if you don't have a good fight style
Yeah.
or a good personality. But at the end of the day,
It's about
a business.
entertainment.
and you need
know?
to resonate with people. That ain't about being something you're not. It's
Yeah,
just about
exactly.
being.
Just be
If you're
yourself.
a normal bloke,
Yeah.
people resonate with
The
that.
story of Johnny's not the typical boxer. He's got a history degree. Like his A-level results were sensational. It's not the normal boxer, but if Johnny can get to where he's got to, other people can get to where they got
Yeah,
to.
100%.
Like what
My plan
you're
wasn't
doing,
to
you're
be a boxer.
inspiring people with your story.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying Johnny's the same as you.
No, of
but
course.
it's just people sitting at home can think, well, if he can
Yeah,
get
it's
there,
just,
And you've got to find
have
where
be
people can resonate
relatable,
with
isn't
you.
it?
Relatable is the
Yeah,
word.
just have to be
Yeah,
that's what
relatable,
it is.
like, you know.
Because every boxer, always use the same story. They've had this hard upbringing.
Yeah.
I come from nothing.
I'd be
like,
dead if it
That's
wasn't
a
for
load of
boxing.
shit.
But I didn't need to. I didn't need to box.
See, boxing,
Yeah.
it's a working class sport.
Yeah.
Obviously, you came from fuck all.
Yeah.
Or your fathers came from fuck all. Like
Yeah.
John, you've probably came from fuck all.
Yeah.
Who the fuck goes to a boxing club? Why? Like, see if
Yeah.
I had my way,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
son is not going to a boxing club.
Yeah.
I get him a dartboard. I told you this before.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, no.
Dog
How
boxing.
many people are doing that now?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sit in the-
yeah.
sit in the pub and have a beer while your
Fucking
son.
whore.
You know, we know Luke a little bit, and he has brought people to darts.
Yeah.
You know, you've even
Yeah,
got probably
yeah,
mums
yeah.
now. Oh, there's a
Yeah.
dartboard. There's a
Yeah.
dartboard.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it'd just be people like us throwing darts.
Yeah.
at a
100%.
dartboard.
Because there's just certain people who transcend sports,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
it? Like,
Yeah.
you know, because I know fuck all about darts, but I know him.
But you know, Luke
Littler.
Littler.
And I know
Yeah.
Pete Taylor, obviously,
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
You
But
know?
it's just what sport needs.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
exactly it.
Every now and then they'll come along.
People who have like an opportunity not to box.
Yeah.
Why would you? It's such a fucking hard sport. Do you know why I give credit to Chris Eubank? Because he didn't need to. He was well off.
And Conor Ben.
And Conor
You know,
Ben,
his
they're
dad's
well off.
multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
But they're
You know?
fucking hungry. You've
I
had
know,
you've
but
a history
it's a
degree.
great, it's a
Yeah.
great
Fucking
life.
My,
Fucking
my,
yeah.
plan,
Talented
my
people.
plan was to be a barrister. That was what I was trying to do. I was going to do a law conversion course. And my manager now, I was just trying to get work experience with him when I was doing a bit of sparring with Joe Joyce. And I said, please take my email, see if we can do it. And then one thing happens after the other. And I think that's the beauty of sport as well. You just run with it. You don't think too far
It
ahead.
gives you opportunities where life wouldn't give you
Yeah, I
opportunities.
don't know. I think it's like it's sport, especially fighting. I think it's very good for character building.
Yeah, totally.
You know, that's what I believe. You know,
Yeah.
like that. I probably don't want my kids to do it. To be truthful,
But you don't want your kids to do it, but
You want them to
it'll
have the
give
morals
them
and the
something that they
discipline.
I
can't
want-
learn anywhere else.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my son in there for
I
disciplinary
think
reasons.
should.
And
definitely.
they learn
That's it.
stuff in that
Like, same
boxing
as,
gym that he can't learn
MMA
anywhere else.
stuff. Like, I would love my son from a young age to be into it.
Yeah.
But do I want him to put his
his
life on the
job,
line?
No,
like
of
that.
course.
No,
yeah.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
think the
Like, you can
benefit
still
comes
understand,
from-
like he'll have an obsession with it. If he
Yeah.
develops that obsession and he wants
Well,
to
it
fight
just-
himself,
And he wants to
that's
spot
not
on,
my
Paul.
decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Spot on.
Yeah,
So-
because it just gives you so many things. Like people, even with the accent, people would say to me like, "Oh, geez, MMA is
put you
pretty
off, yeah.
dangerous and whatever." And
Yeah.
I'll be like, "MMA has given me way more than it's took away from me, even with the accent." You know what I mean? Even if I was still in the wheelchair, it would have gave me more than it's taken away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What it
You know,
teaches
Like,
you.
life is dangerous.
Yeah,
You might not go to MMA because your mum says it's too dangerous. Stand on a street corner, someone come up and stab you.
Yeah.
exactly.
Or you might walk out in the road, get run over.
yeah,
You just
it's-
can't look at life
that's
like
shit.
that.
But
No,
as you
it's
said,
difficult.
like if you don't necessarily have to have your son go and be a boxer, or your daughter go and do it, but being in that boxing gym,
Yes.
mixing
The
with the
people you
people,
meet,
the
yeah.
authority
Yeah.
that the
It's that
coaches
side
have,
of it's huge.
people from all different walks
Listen,
of life.
boxing gym, Catholic,
Yeah.
Protestant,
Yeah.
Muslim,
Yeah,
black.
Nobody
doesn't
gives a
matter.
shit.
I was just about to say,
And you're
Tony
all
Barley
in the
touches
same-
on it. Tony Barley says in Liverpool
Yeah.
you'll have a police officer,
Yeah.
and you'll have a fucking
Drug
gangster,
criminal.
Yeah.
a drug dealer,
Yeah.
all in the same gym,
Yeah.
and it's a mutual respect.
No, it is. And
And
people,
it's
unless you've
crazy
been
how
in them
much a
gyms, you
coach
don't
can-
realise that.
I
Yeah.
don't think
Like an
any
old-
other like combat sports is completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
schools
in that way.
in England and Ireland and Britain and Ireland, they need to take note of
Yeah.
what the
Implement
value of a
it.
boxing gym is. They
Definitely
don't,
implement that in
because there's
schools.
still that stigma around boxing
Yeah.
and fighting and
Yeah.
MMA.
You've done talks in schools before, and like the
Some of the
students
teachers
are so
don't-
great, but some of the teachers you can
a bit
tell are
snooty
turning
about
their
it. Yeah.
nose up.
Yeah.
But they
But-
don't realise
but
the values it
There
brings.
are
benefits
teachers
are
who
crazy.
know that it can be valuable, and they're the
Yeah.
ones that need to do something.
And we know it's dangerous, but as we just said, life is dangerous.
Everything
It's not even
dangerous.
like it's the impacts that it has on community too. Like it's like putting them into that, and those things are so essential in all communities. Like it's
Yeah.
what the people who dedicate themselves running the gyms
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
do, all
Yeah.
of it.
They're
There's so
valuable.
much, it's so valuable,
Yeah.
and there's
That's
so much
why
for people to learn from.
I
from that.
feel in Belfast it's such a really, really special city for boxing because it's so small and it's so
Yeah.
successful
Yeah, it's-
because of the
yeah.
grassroots
Yeah,
boxing.
it's-
That obviously the city council have invested loads in like helping boxing clubs. There's a boxing club in every
Yeah, but
area.
then the council knows what it can bring, and if they
Yeah.
didn't have them boxing clubs,
Exactly.
what are them children
Well,
going to be
yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
Are they going to be up
Volunteers.
to it?
The coaches are all volunteers. No one does it for money.
No.
It's for the love of the sport.
Yeah,
It's for
they're
love
the
of
people
boxing.
you've got to take your hats off to.
15, 10, 20 years time, them kids are in that boxing club, and the adults of Belfast or London, and
Yeah.
you need them with them values.
because they know they've experienced it firsthand. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm sure like when you're all said and done, when you're boxing too, you're going to be doing the same thing.
Well, 100%. I'll go and
Hopefully they
volunteer.
don't learn from
Yeah.
all your side.
Hopefully
Like,
not. Hopefully not.
Just don't
Stay
let them
well
show them
clean.
any of your life.
And one thing a boxing gym or MMA gym, combat sport gym teaches you, there's always someone bigger and badder than you.
That's
honestly.
Always.
The amount of times I've been humbled.
Yeah.
I'm humbled so
Like,
much
fucking-
throughout my career,
yeah.
like just sparring and getting
Yeah.
fucking
But you
beat
take it
up
on the chin and you
you're
move
just
on.
going,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fucking
And
Yeah.
easy.
It
But
builds
you
you.
could imagine, like, if you're going into that from, you know, with a bit of an attitude before you when you were a young age, some people need that, like.
100%.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
when
Humility.
you-
Especially when you're at them teenage years when you think you're the bollocks. Do you
Yeah, I
know what I
know.
mean? You're
Do
walking
you remember when
around.
Philip Hergovich came to spar at Origin, and I thought,
Yeah,
he
Johnny
asked me
took-
to go and spar in Texas with him after that, and I thought, all right, we'll just have it's only a 4-round spar, and I was getting absolutely pummeled. and I was
Philip Ergovich, lovely bloke. We got on really well with him.
He's a nice
But
man.
that first spar, he's up there thinking, because we had a few people watching, he's thinking, I'll show you.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
show
Do
you.
you know what I mean? And he did fucking
And he
show
said to
Johnny
me,
on that
he
first
said,
spar.
brother,
Nothing bad happened.
I don't
but it
spar
was-
easy. I never
Yeah.
spar easy. But it's just pummeling.
And they went to Texas for 2 weeks.
And I got better
I went
because-
over there and I'm thinking he ain't going to be able to handle this 2 weeks because Ergovich goes for it. But by the end of the 2 weeks, he was handling it.
Yeah, brilliant.
Come through it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you feel better for that.
And really, looking back, I kicked myself because that fight with the last one I had, I boxed on the back foot a little bit too much. With Hergovich, we realised that I was trying to box on the back foot with him too much.
But then
when I
when
met
Johnny
him in the
fronted
middle,
him up, that's when Johnny had more
I had
success.
a bit more
Yeah.
success. I wouldn't say I was winning the spars, but I gave a better go of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in a way, I've come full circle and realised what I am and what my style's got to be.
Yeah.
I'm a southpaw, 6 foot, fucking super lightweight.
At your weight, yeah.
Fa-
Yeah.
Like, I'm a boxer,
Yeah.
counter puncher, but I have a way of, what's the point in moving back to get to the ropes and punch?
No,
Yeah.
Why not just punch from where you are?
exactly.
So let them come in the range and meet them.
Exactly.
So I have this thing where like never back off, never back. Even though I'm a counter puncher, I'll
Yeah.
still wait within middle
You're
distance.
counter punching, but you're not
You're
counter
not giving
punching
ground.
from
You're
the
not
side
giving
of
ground,
on the
yeah.
back foot
Yeah.
because
You've got to hold the
you're
ground.
letting someone dictate the pace of the ring.
And that's what
dictate
Johnny
the-
did in his fight, if
So-
we're being honest.
But that's
you
a
know?
good learning curve for you
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a lot of people, there was a lot of people I used to call a rat. They'll only throw when they're backed in the corner.
Yeah.
They'll go back, they'll
Yeah,
go back,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
they'll punch.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I go, he's a rat.
Because he's not
That's
meeting in the middle.
actually
Yeah.
in the corner.
Not in the middle. Yeah.
Why not
Fellas
just
just
punch
off
them where you
the
are?
guard.
Because you're going to wait until they get you in a pace where you can't
some
move.
poor
You may as well
fella,
just throw where you are.
If you told a boxer, like someone who's on the back foot boxing, to go forward and crunch someone and be a pressure fighter, they're going to find it difficult. But
Yeah.
my natural urge, everything about me says just go and meet in the
watch
middle.
them
Yeah,
spar?
maybe.
So I can't
watch
try and
them
curb
spar?
that too much because
Fucking like that.
I find that less tiring than
Yeah,
going on the back
100%.
foot.
But that's your asset. Your asset is your power going forward.
And I'm never going to look pretty with it, but it's
So
effective.
That's
yeah.
it. Yeah, it
So
don't
fuck.
matter. Yeah.
Who cares?
And it's exciting for people to
Wee
watch,
Mary
so-
in the second row.
Yeah.
Fuck her. She'll say, fuck her, I'm okay.
Turkey himself has said he don't want to see any
Yeah, the board
of the
fights, yeah, yeah.
of the chasing
Yeah,
around the
moving,
ring
he's right.
fights.
100%.
Because it was after that New York card, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As I
Quite
say,
boring,
like,
yeah.
I'm a counter puncher, but I don't move.
But
my
you're not
way.
You
moving
still,
back,
yeah,
yeah.
you're not giving the ground away for no
I
reason.
use my brain.
Yeah, but it's exciting as well, though.
If
to
you watch
do.
Sonny Edwards, he moves and boxes, but he's not
Yeah.
running away.
No,
He's
no.
interacting
Yeah.
with
And
his
if,
movement.
if I'm
you know
being
what I mean?
honest, I like boxing, but I won't sit sometimes and think I'm really excited or enjoying it. Like, I'm not
When
a
you're
true.
watching it,
I'm
yeah.
not a through and through
There's
boxing
only certain
fan.
fights
Some
that
fights
get
I
you
think
going.
this is
Yeah.
boring. I admire the skill,
Yeah.
but
But that's
I'm
why
not entertained.
boxing
We need to
has slowly
entertain.
been dying
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of that. Because a lot of the fights have been boring.
But
Yeah,
now that
100%.
we're hopefully
The
they've
fight
made some
fans
good
just want to
fights.
see boys beat the head of each other. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's all people want to see.
That's why white collar boxing's better than professional boxing.
Yeah,
but
white
it's
collar
exciting.
All
boxing.
people want to
all.
see is
Just big
two people
bombs
getting
being
in-
thrown.
Swing like
Having a
fuck.
swing.
Both rings
Loving
off.
each
No,
other.
because that's
Yeah.
it. Like everybody, like I was saying MMA as well. Like with the grappling, a lot of people don't understand
Yeah.
what's it like. It's so high level, but a lot of people don't understand.
So
what's
when they're
going
watching
on.
it, they're thinking, "Oh, it's just
Yeah,
too
like
You
what-
see me,
Yeah,
I
rolling
wouldn't
around,
want to watch the grappling. I
Yeah.
want to watch the
'Cause you don't
fight. You know,
understand.
although I'm not taking anything
Nah, of
away from
course,
what them
look,
guys do because
understandable.
that's bloody hard.
Yeah.
But for me as a spectator,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want
of
to see the
course.
punches or the kicks.
Yeah,
striking,
no,
yeah.
and that's
You know?
it. And I always recognise that as well
Yeah.
because like everybody understands knockouts.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
like one thing that always.
It's like Test cricket and 2020 cricket, same
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
People don't appreciate the intricacies of it.
100%. It's just
what?
there's-
There's two different types of cricket.
So there's 5-day
about
cricket,
5
Test
different
cricket.
types of cricket.
And I'm a
Yeah,
cricket
yeah.
nut.
Yeah.
I love
Well,
cricket.
Well,
Cricket,
hang on
like-
for a minute. You have played in tea breaks and cricket anyway,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah,
You-
but I love
Well, listen,
the
but
Test
the
cricket.
Irish Ireland have got good teams, and Ireland's part of the England cricket board. So any of the players that are really good for Ireland, they play for England. Like Owen
Oh, really?
Morgan.
Yeah.
Owen Morgan, the one-day
was
captain for England.
England captain,
But he's Irish.
Irish
Yeah.
as you.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, really?
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't
Boyd
know.
I know
ranking, wasn't it?
football,
Boyd
but
ranking.
cricket.
I know,
They've got
same.
good
I
one
would say
day.
it's not
a
Ireland
thing
have got
here,
a good
like,
on watch
T20 team.
sport in Ireland.
Yeah, 'cause
and the whole of the like the
I
whole
think
like
if
north
more
and
Irish
south.
people knew that Irish people were playing for
I
England,
didn't
they'd be
even
like,
know. I know.
Owen Morgan's one of
Hey,
my
Bob.
best.
Owen Morgan's
Get out
one
with
of
that
the,
gaff, you.
Owen Morgan's one of the best players we've ever had for England,
Oh, well.
and he's Irish. Pure Irish, but he's never hid from the fact that he's Irish. But it's just because the Irish Cricket Board are aligned with the England, rightly so, because they haven't got the money
Yeah.
or
Right,
the
'cause I
to
was gonna,
stand on
actually
their
going
own.
to ask why he doesn't play for Ireland.
There
Well,
is
they
an
can play
Irish.
for Ireland. After you play for England, you can go back and play for Ireland in the 50-50. And they're,
And the
they're
2020s.
and the 2020, and they're not bad sides, but at the moment they're not
Their
really.
test side
Their
isn't.
test side isn't as strong as what
Yeah,
it could
strong,
be.
yeah.
So England and Ireland are helping each other.
Right,
So
yeah.
we're
That
getting
way,
the
but
best
because
Irish
as I
players,
say,
but England
Yeah.
are putting money
Yeah.
into it as well. So hopefully in 10, 20 years' time,
There'll be a good
you'll have
test
an
fight
England v
outfit.
Ireland having a proper test match.
Yeah,
You know, so it's all for the greater good.
Yeah.
Force
Do
for
you,
everything.
who do you, what do you have any team you support? Like club teams?
West Ham's our local team.
Is it?
We don't really get
But I
worked up
don't
over
support.
football.
I don't support West Ham.
No, I mean in cricket. Is there like club? Is it only
No,
club?
it's just
But,
England.
Cricket.
Who do we like?
There's not cricket.
Well, we went
hooligans
to
and
Sydney
that, is
Sixers.
Yeah.
We went, I was actually bowled a ball at the SCG in Sydney, so we went and watched the Sydney Sixers, and they
Yeah.
got us back again. But listen, Essex
Don't
are our
have a
local
yeah.
team.
Oh, Essex. in
We
terms
just
of
like
what-
watching. We just like watching cricket. I
England
just love
is
it.
England is
yeah, I
enough.
can't imagine the excitement. Like,
I know, I reckon.
No.
aye.
Like, everyone loves a beer.
But
at
here
cricket
it's
as well.
beach
I can
fucking
imagine,
so
yeah.
popular, like
It's not gonna pull
obviously,
me
and
off
like
my
and
seat.
then
So quick.
oh yeah, hit it.
Listen, in England, in the Ashes in the summer in England, everyone will be on the
Ashes,
beers.
Ashes,
Yeah.
England,
That'll be amazing.
Australia
Edgbaston.
is amazing.
you know what I love about it? It's always fucking sunny.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care. It's even if there's a cricket game in Ireland, for some reason it's sunny.
Yeah.
Fuck, what
Listen,
part of Ireland are
sun
they?
cream, don't
It's
you?
great. I do like
Cricket is a great sport.
Yeah.
We know a few cricketers. We're grateful of that, and I just love cricket. I've loved it growing up. Johnny's loved it.
Would they be good athletes in that? Yeah. Cricket players
Good
are they good athletes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Sam Billings, we
Yeah.
know, is a really good athlete. Ben Duckett, we're friends with
Yeah.
Ben Stokes, who's
Yeah.
probably the most famous cricketer in England.
Right,
Made
okay.
one of the top ever, isn't he?
Yeah, Ben Stokes is unbelievable.
He's unbelievable. It's becoming more of that sort of sport now as well. The athletic side of it's coming
Right,
out more.
okay.
And
It's
like we was at
it's a
Lord's.
grammar school sport here. Like, it wouldn't
Especially
really
in 2020
Polo, isn't
games.
it?
Yeah,
Like in that sense, like where it's like more grammar school and stuff.
yeah.
Don't
But
even
listen,
talk
we
It
was
is
at
still
we was
a lot
at
more of a class thing.
On the horses that they fucking
Polo?
that's the upper
Okay,
class.
polo.
But we was at Lord's.
That's what I'm saying, same thing, know what I mean?
We was at Lord's for the World Test Final, Australia versus South Africa,
picturing you playing pool.
with Budgie Smuggler.
me.
And Lord's put us on the. It was Lord's is very posh.
Type here the
Yeah.
jokes
They put us
on.
on the social media site, and a lot of the comments were,
Oh,
"Yeah,
bro.
bosh, bosh," but a lot of the comments were, "What is this coming to?" Having us on the Lords,
Yeah.
because we're like working class, and then like people going, "Well, you got to move with the times. You got to move with the times," because
Same
Lords
with
is very
rugby as
posh.
well, though, isn't
It's like
What a
it's almost
place.
as if you're working class, you're not allowed in here.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
allowed.
Lords is a little bit like that.
Lords is a little bit like, but what a place.
Not,
We
not
sat
Lords
right there.
itself, but the people
Beautiful.
that some people still try and keep it just
Yeah,
for,
not-
the, for
yeah.
the upper classes.
How the
Yeah.
fuck are you supposed to ever go and do it? How are you ever supposed to?
But you go to Edgbaston, you go to the Oval, you go to these
Yeah, the
places.
Oval, Edgbaston, Old Trafford.
It's how it should be.
proper
you know?
proper
Yeah.
cricket
Yeah.
grounds with proper fans.
It's still an upper class.
Don't get me wrong,
associated
Lords
sport.
was great, and it's great with the history and the tradition. You never want to lose that.
Yeah.
But you've also got to soften a little bit. You know?
When I went,
Yeah.
I was in Pakistan. I went to Pakistan.
I bet that's
years ago.
unbelievable
Huge
watching
over
cricket
there.
over there.
And there was kids in the street. Now it
Yeah.
was so poor.
Yeah.
We were driving through the streets. It was just
different
there's
over
no
there.
roads.
Yeah.
All got
It's
cricket
just
bats
kids.
and
It's
bowling.
just like Thailand or something.
Yeah.
They're flying about mopeds. There's
Yeah.
like a family of 6 on a moped. And there's kids in the street playing cricket. And I'm like, what the
Cricket
fuck?
is
India's
like
the
religion
same.
over
It's like a
there.
religion.
Yeah.
India and Pakistan,
So
it's
big
like a
over there,
religion.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's
it's
why
their
a
sport.
lot of English and Australian players are going and play in the IPL. Their money and their
They earn
following,
fortune.
Yeah.
social media goes.
Seriously.
They become superstars.
You go and play in the IPL, you might go from 20,000 followers to 1 million followers.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So although you're earning money, it's also a good.
You become a superstar.
You
Like
become
they
a
wouldn't be able to
superstar
walk
over
the streets of India. Like they'd
We used to
recognise
play
everyone.
rounders. Did you ever play rounders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about
Rounders?
stall ball? You played stall ball?
Oh, stall ball. Never heard of a stall ball.
little
We
thing,
played.
bang, rounders, yeah.
We
Yeah,
played
rounders.
rounders.
Aye,
You just
rounders.
threw it up. Either you had a baseball bat or a hurley
Yes.
stick. And you just whacked
Well,
it.
rounders is growing in the universities. I think there's a lot of
They do
leagues and all
softball
that.
now as well.
It's
Softball,
like,
rounders.
it's like cricket, not cricket, pickleball and paddle in it. Like,
Yeah.
Paddle's the one.
Pickleball.
Paddle's the fastest growing sport throughout the history of fastest growing sports.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
got to
I
be.
think
That's why
so.
tennis are worried.
Yeah.
Because they reckon in 10
It's just
years,
easier
5,
to
10
play.
years,
Have you
it's
played
going to be
anybody can
taken
play it,
over.
like, yeah.
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 Tennis is so fucking hard.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
Why, that's
Yeah.
why
Even I
paddle's
could
like
play
big,
paddle.
because
That's why people could get involved, you
easier,
know?
like, yeah.
It's like, ever see, do you know what it's like? CrossFit and Hyrox. Hyrox is accessible to a lot of
Yeah,
general pop.
yeah.
CrossFit is like
CrossFit's
a
got
skilled
too much
Olympic
equipment you
sport.
need
You can't do it.
Yeah.
General pop can't do it. So Hyrox is just blowing up. And fucking it's probably
And
the
everyone's
same
running
time
now,
as
aren't they?
football.
Running clubs.
No, they're
You
not,
don't
Johnny.
require-
Don't do it for me.
Not for me.
Fuck running.
Not John.
You get on a Segway and do it.
We'll get you a pair of rollerblades, John.
I said, get some Heelys on.
Big John had a pair of rollerblades, eating a curry boy.
Come on, speed up.
That'd be a
Boosh.
boosh.
His party says boosh.
We had a bloke in the Chinese last night, didn't we?
We did.
And he was
Met a
trying to
fan.
say Bosch, but he was saying Boosh.
What's his name?
Shout out Celtic Brothers.
Celtic's brother with an X.
Yeah.
Celtic's brother, but give a big shout out. And,
Great shout out to Celtic
just for you,
Brothers.
mate. Boosh.
He'll love that, you know.
He'll be in it. He'll have this
We'll be all
on
over
his
his
channel.
YouTube
It's a
channel.
wonder he ain't out there now looking in, to be honest.
Sharp.
Twelve and actors. He'll have this on
Yeah,
there.
he
You know you have it.
He said to Paul, Jay, it's great to see you in person. But it must have been like he was he was
the
just looking
windows.
in Paul's window every night.
Yeah, in person.
I've
Yeah.
never
Definitely
seen
not
him
the first
before in my
time he's
life,
seen
but
you in
he's
person.
seen me, like.
Yeah,
It was good. Funny night last night.
Yeah, it was a good night.
That
wasn't
joy
it?
ends.
No, it was good.
Great Chinese. So,
Shout out to
That's
Joy.
what life's all about, enjoying yourself when you can.
Do you know what
Yeah,
it's
you see-
like sitting by the fire that night at Shando's wedding? You know,
Yeah, just
the crack
everybody
that you
having a
have.
bit of
Yeah.
steak and like it's one of my favourite things that, you know, sitting around with people, good people who you care about, and everybody's having a laugh
that's
and
nice.
just
Just cracking jokes,
Yeah.
and everybody's
taking
getting
a
ripped
mickey,
in.
having a laugh, and
yeah. That's what life's about.
Taking
you
the
know what I
mickey
mean?
out of each other is
Yeah.
probably one of the best pastimes.
It's honestly,
100%.
they just, you know, especially
We
over
talked
in,
about this last night.
yeah.
If you're mates with someone, you can take
Yeah,
the piss.
the bigger the insult, the closer the
Like,
friend.
my mate, I think my
That's
mate
when he
Fergus,
left.
he
They
say
said
whatever
they
he
couldn't say
wants,
what
so-
was
What
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
saying last night about certain people who are surrounded by people who are afraid to make jokes about them.
Yeah.
No, you can't be like
Yeah.
that.
You can't have that in your life.
No.
Like, you need
100%.
people that
They ain't
keep you
really your
grounded
mate
and
if
take
you
the
can't be
piss,
like that.
No.
You got to be able to.
Your
have
mate
the
will always
mickey
tell
taken.
you what's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if
Because
you don't.
otherwise, if they don't, they're not your mate.
No, they're not.
Do you know what I mean?
They're not.
And you don't have to believe him, because he, ever since I met this man, he's giving me shit about I have a pair of sandals, and he just keeps giving me shit about
Don't
them.
worry,
He's been shit
I'll
about
take
I
you
love them.
yesterday wearing sandals. Don't worry about that.
Bro, I'm
comfortable,
just
aren't
letting
they?
you know.
Comfortable. And he just keeps
Everybody's saying it.
When
I'm
I
just.
came here today, he says, you better not be wearing no sandals.
I never used to wear socks and
fucking
sandals because I
socks.
thought them idiots wearing it, but I've started doing it now.
So
'cause I
bad.
can't bother to
I have to
change
bring
the
him. I have to call
Just
him out.
bin the
every
fucking
Yeah,
sandals,
come
lads.
on.
The sandals aren't cool for anybody. Like, they're not doing anybody any favors. Would you wear them sandals?
What?
The
The
ones he has?
I wear the
Ah,
Birkenstocks. You always wear the slipper ones.
100%.
Yeah,
That
slipper
looks
ones.
great on a
Slipper
holiday, your head case.
Bro,
wear
actually,
them
I'm
a lot.
not taking any advice off you. You the fucking shoes you wore with the fur on the back of them.
He's done the fur.
So I have a pair of Gucci loafers, and there's like four going around the edge of them, and I wore them. We were at a wedding, and I wore them to the wedding. Fuck me.
Oh.
So, like, everybody was just like, they're two dead rats on your feet.
Although I must admit, my youngest son William, Johnny's brother, he always wears Crocs, and I always take them piss out of him. What you wearing them for? What you wearing them for?
They're so
We was in
comfortable.
Dubai once, me and Charlotte, and my feet were killing me. I ended up buying a pair of Crocs, walking about in them, so they're all bloody
I've got the
comfortable.
Crocs at the winter ones, at the winter
Oh,
boots.
geez, like
Yeah,
he's 17 in
yeah.
the Christmas shoes.
It's so funny
They're the
because
comfortable
right,
shoes.
they were all right to wear at the beginning. Then it was just so frowned upon. Have you ever seen somebody wear a pair of Crocs on? Now they've come back into being
It's
killed.
funny how it goes.
It's
in and
just
out.
like that, isn't
But
it?
at the end of the day, like you with your
I just wanna
sandals,
be
you with your
comfortable.
sandals, wear whatever you want.
They
I
were
wanna be
happy.
People are
comfortable.
going to
They
take
were
the
make
mickey
you
out,
happy.
Exactly, it
but
doesn't
we're,
matter.
All I care about
apart
is
from
being
your
comfortable.
loafers with a fur, that's a
Yeah,
no-no.
yeah, look, sure, I couldn't give a bollocks. Anyway,
that's it.
I was getting hell for it the whole night. It's not like, yeah, if you really cared about somebody saying something about wearing them, you're never gonna wear them in the first place.
And you'll
anyway.
never be yourself.
Do you know what I mean?
You'll never be your
like
true
it's
self.
not like I thought, like, you know, when I bought them and everything else, of course people are gonna lift you out before wearing shit.
But you paid a few quid for them and all.
Yeah, they were a few
Yeah.
quid.
Stole
them? Yeah. I wish I stole them. Would have got them for free. Then. Fuck.
Oh,
They're about 800 quid them, yeah.
Fucking hell.
fuck me.
Have you still got them?
Yeah. Yeah.
When's
Sean, I landed them.
We'll get them on the 11th night bonfire on the 12th. We'll put them up.
I've been watching
We'll
them.
stick them on the top, the fur, all those fucking
Imagine that you get in London where gangs are, they throw their trainers over telephone.
Yeah.
Throw them over.
Someone for you mean something else.
Yeah, you don't want to be around this fucking hood here.
Yeah, the lane wouldn't even want them. No, the lane would just go, no. Do you have bonfires over in...
Bonfires?
Is that on Halloween night? Or is
No,
it
Bonfire night.
Bonfire night, 5th of November.
November?
What is that?
Because he blew up Parliament.
He tried to blow up
Parliament.
Right,
Guy
okay.
Yeah,
Fawkes.
Guy Fawkes. Have you not heard of that over
No, because I watched V for Vendetta.
here? Yeah, V for Vendetta.
Yeah,
That's who
yeah.
he is. Yeah, it's a good film, that.
Yeah, it's a good
Well,
film.
Guy, yeah,
That's with the
Bonfire
he's
night.
got the mask on.
Yeah.
Used to do penny for the guy, but I've got to be truthful. Like when we was kids, bonfire night was huge.
not
Everyone had a bonfire, barbecue, fireworks.
It used to be massive, yeah.
Now Halloween's sort of took over
Yeah.
more than bonfire.
Halloween's an Irish
yeah, but
tradition,
you know
isn't it?
what it
Yeah.
is though
Yeah.
as well, more than anything, is the kids won't go out and collect the wood these days.
No,
I
yeah.
remember like
They won't.
being a kid.
No
it
one
was
wants to
like-
make a guy. No one wants to do the
Yeah.
hard work, having a bonfire.
No.
People don't want to get their
People
hands dirty
rather
anymore.
go
Kids
and
nowadays
I'd
want
rather
to
go
work.
and get sweets from someone.
And it
as
is a
well.
shame because when we was kids, bonfire night was huge.
Yeah.
Even when
And it's
I was
still
a kid.
people, we all still like celebrate it, if you could call it celebrating, but it's not.
You don't have a
Yeah,
big
it's
thing
not
anymore.
what it
It's
was.
not like a festival.
Everyone used to have parties. Everyone big bonfires. So I mean, some villages in towns they still do big bonfires, but it's dying out.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
sad to see
Dying
good
out.
traditions.
But
dying,
obviously
isn't
as
it?
well because people are all fireworks are dangerous. It's all the
Yeah.
health and safety.
Fucking words
You
going
know what I
soft.
mean? Yeah, it's all the health and safety. You can't have fireworks in your garden. You got to go to display, but
I don't want to go. Yeah, but they do a lot of displays still. But
they
you
do.
just
They do
it
a
at
lot
home.
of displays. But yeah,
You
but
wanna do it
always
at
just,
home?
we always just do it in our garden. I mean,
You know
we
what
have
happens?
nearly set our sheds on fire a couple of times.
Remember I set
Fireworks
our
going
cousin's
wrong.
hair on fire, Jesse.
Oh yeah,
By
fucking
accident.
firework flew at us. Bloody hell.
There was rats last week in Ballymena. Did you see this? The guy was walking up with like a 40-shooter firework to shoot at the police. So the police had there was just a wee turn just outside.
How far
Belfast.
away is that? 'Cause I
Ballymena.
saw
Yeah,
a
we saw the
police
process.
armoured vehicle drive past me yesterday. You know, with
Yeah.
all the railings on it.
not
And
far,
30
is it?
minutes from Belfast, but they had a wee they were having rats because they
Yeah.
were foreigners or something like that.
Yeah.
But one of the locals had this 40-shooter firework, and he was walking up to shoot the police.
Like a rocket
He
launcher.
had it back to front, and he was shooting all his own people, and he had no idea. Someone's recording out the window, going, "Look at this," and they're shooting. Turn around, and he's going.
Turn around.
He doesn't even realise, and everyone's running to their legs. And
It's funny.
To be honest,
funny.
it sounds like somebody who would do something like
100%.
that. Who's gonna
It's a stereotype fucking.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the
rat or
only
someone who doesn't even know
stupid
where they're
protester.
at.
That's the
Yeah.
only problem with these like riots and things like that. We've had them in England before. They start off genuine,
purpose, aye.
but then they end up destroying
Loitering.
people's properties and
Yes.
local
Yeah.
businesses and
It's ridiculous.
It don't-
Remember
it
in
don't get
London, they
anywhere.
were in Oxford Street, they were going in the Foot Locker and taking all the shoes
yeah,
and trainers and
just
Comes an
Yeah.
excuse.
What's
Comes
fucking
an excuse.
What have they
it just
done?
becomes a fucking shit
No,
show.
it becomes an excuse.
Just
Yeah,
it's
that's
an
what
excuse, and
happens.
it's just
But then it just gets away from the reason why.
It gets
they're
away
actually
from the
doing it.
reason.
And because two people have done something, it doesn't mean that everyone else is fucking.
Exactly,
done it. So
exactly.
just
that's
get the
fucking-
people
It's
that
mob
have done it and
mentality,
put
innit?
some-
Like,
yeah,
it's just the way
yeah,
it
that's
goes.
exactly
Yeah.
it. That's fucking.
But that's human
It's just an
mentality
it's
for
just
you.
an excuse, isn't it? It's mob.
excuse.
Come
Mob
on.
Mob
Vandalism.
mentality.
Vandalism.
And a lot of disenchantment brings all that.
Yeah.
People are not happy with their lives.
Yeah,
They
of
go out
course.
and
It's
do
just
it.
a reason to go out and
Yeah.
cause
Busting
more
the finish
misery.
work, fucking smashing windows, fucking hitting
Up the
the
foot
Yeah, but
locker.
you've got to be
Yeah,
quite a
bastard.
desperate to
no
think you're going to go out and
size
smash someone's stuff. Yeah.
They're going up to Foot Locker. I'm looking for a size 8. I've got a size 8. They're fucking shit.
No, we had it in London about a year or so ago.
Swapping
People
the
going, "Oh,
boys
yeah,
doing
go,
it,
go out on the streets and protest about the immigrants and all this."
Yeah.
But it become more than that. It become destroying people's
civil war.
lives. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Civil
you
war-
can't. You
civil
know,
war.
you should be able to protest, yeah, but there's ways to do it.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's another story.
We'll wrap it up here, lads. But listen, lads, it's been a great chat. And
I think the chat beforehand was even better. You should have
Yeah.
recorded
Yeah,
that.
that was.
These boys will have some of that.
Homer
boys.
Simpson, he's back on.
I'm off now, lads. Don't know what you're talking
That,
about.
that stuff cannot see the light of day.
For the purposes in the room, Johnny is not a virgin.
Virgin no more.
Just,
Last night.
yeah.
That's how that either.
No, what's his name? Celtic's brother.
Yeah. Thanks, Celtic.
Yeah, booze.
Yeah, booze. I was saying it last night.
Even
Booze.
gave me 20 quid for it.
Yeah.
Bro, did you hear this, by the way? Right, so the guy that they're talking about that was in this place, one of the guys that we came up with, one of my mates, it said to this guy that was in the Chinese that he was the prize guy, just to
Yeah,
take the piss.
yeah.
So he sent my mate Paul over, or he sent him over to my mate Paul and was like, he's the real prize guy. So he come over to Paul. Paul played along with it. He says, "Yeah, sure. Look, I'm wearing a Rolex. I'm the prize guy. Paul's the face of it, but I'm the real guy." And he was like, and then my other mate goes, "Sure, give him some money." The kid was like, "Well, if you have some money, I'll take it." So Paul, my mate gave him 20 quid and signed it. Paul Harkin.
No, he said, "I'm not going to use it. Can you sign it?"
Yeah, but he's
And then
got
he
a
asked
frame.
you to sign
But I
the
said
other
to my
side.
mate, I was like, "Bro, you've signed that in my name, and people are going to say." Fucking prize guys out signing money for people. And I wasn't even fucking.
He'll be on
asked
his
us to sign the
YouTube
other side as well.
channel or Red Tube
Yeah,
channel.
say something on the other side.
But mad,
Crazy
mad,
world.
brilliant. It was,
Oh, thanks for having us on.
Thank
Been a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
us.
very much.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Good.
Boosh.
Bang, bang, every chat.
Boosh, yeah, boosh. It's not even Boshhhhh anymore.
Boo.